Welcome, colleagues. We are live at the VUT Student Academic Development Support and Work Integrated Show. We have the entire team here. My name is Sanzima here at Commercial TV Network, our video streaming platform. We are bringing our monthly show. This is the first edition of 2025. We thought that we should bring the whole team to share with you the background and the context in terms of the unit. I'm joined by Rapula Mudivani, who's going to be co-anchoring the show with me. And our colleague Divesh Motilal should be joining us anytime from now. And of course, we're waiting for Ndade Edwin Mabelane. This is a chilled conversation in a hotla way around the fire, no stress, no pressure. We want the viewers and the listeners to be introduced to the unit at VAL University of Technology. As if that is not enough, in the coming series, we will be hosting each one of them to drill deeper into the portfolios that they are responsible for at the VUT. We have learned from the last years that we perhaps need to induct our viewers and our listeners about the work that this team is doing. We have introduced Dr. Moletsane last year, and Simon Mhlala and Edwin Mabelane. Now we are ready to introduce to you the entire team. This is a team effort. This is a team project, as you want to call it that way. And today is just the kickoff. Thank you so much. And that day, Rapula, do you want to say hi to the viewers? And then I'm going to give the context to the show.
Yeah, let me greet the entourage from VUT. You're welcome back to 2025. We're looking forward to have a nice conversation and make sure that our viewers and our audience are enjoying this program because it comes once a month. My name is Rapula Mudivani. I'm Managing Director of Retlaleville Holding Group. I'm a coach and also a facilitator, also the mentor for micro, small, medium entrepreneurs. That's where you're going to find me, especially in the line of entrepreneurs. But on the stage, we're going to have what they call let's have fun to educate others and then inform others. Sam, back to you.
Thank you so much. The colleagues from VUT, you're going to have your moment to introduce yourself when we start engaging with you around the portfolios. But I want to give the context to this monthly show that is taking place at this platform the last Wednesday of every month. This show's aim is to contribute to the development, growth, and sustainability of programs that constitute the student development support and work integrated learning at the VAL University of Technology. We hope to practically contribute to the growing expertise, methods, skills, personal, social competencies that are necessary for us to do our work. So, as I indicated, the show takes place on the last Wednesday of every month, with exception of the month of December and January. The target audience is the internal colleagues within the university. And then, of course, externally, we have the industry partners, we have the CETAs, and of course, the students themselves. And without forgetting their parents and whoever is funding their learning at the university. Once the students join to study at the university, it is our interest to encourage them to join the Work Integrated Learning project of the university, and you'll hear that from the colleagues themselves. What are the objectives? Definitely sharing of information about this initiative and the programs in the unit, ensuring that the students are very well prepared from the understanding point of view. We obviously also invite the other role players from other divisions, faculties, what we call the WIL coordinators, to actually share with us their experience of being part of the program. And of course, we invite the industry players to come on board and share with us their experience of the program. We have prepared this session to delve into the portfolios And I think before we do that, perhaps you could just introduce the unit. And then, of course, we're going to look at your own portfolio itself. Don't go into a portfolio as yet, but just
Okay.
tell us what makes this unit and how is it positioned within the broader scheme of things at the Valley University of Technology. Over to you, Zin.
Good evening, colleagues. Thank you very much, Brasan. Let me also greet the listener and the viewers. Tonight, I just want to say that cooperative education is a unique department in the University of Technology. That is where we are positioned as a unique department, because in the University of Technology, we are not like traditional or comprehensive. We are having the module of work integrated learning, where the students are doing this module outside the industry. The team that are here are driving work integrated learning. Next time, as we are restricted by the number of the people, we will have another people who are driving the student success from the Center for Academic Development that are reporting directly to me. And then that is where we are positioned, Brasem. We are positioned as a unique department. There's no UOT that doesn't have this department, cooperative education, because our mission is to drive the work integrated learning and student success.
Wonderful, wonderful. And then, of course, you have the whole team that is working on this. And the reason why we are holding the show today is just to talk about the various portfolios. We have Ndade Simon Mashala, we have Caroline Dos Santos, we have Sylvia Konazi, who will be joined by Edwin Mavelane. Hopefully he's able to troubleshoot and come on board. Let's introduce the portfolios before we go into the various roles those portfolios fulfill. You have definitely people that are behind the scene, and some are not here with us today, including those students that do WIL within the unit. They play a key role. And of course, the support, your own support. Lena is not with us today, but she's also part of the team. So let's just talk about those without going to the details now. And then, of course, we have got I call them field workers. That is Simon Mishala and Edwin Mavela, out there in the field, reaching out to the industry partners. But perhaps just give us an overview of what makes the unit itself, and then we'll then go into portfolios.
Thank you very much, Brasem. Yes, as you see, Mr. Moshala and Mr. Mabelani here, they are not even around the university. They are industry licensed practitioners. In cooperative education, we've got the director, and we also have the industry licensed practitioners who are going out to industry. They will elaborate their activities when they are actually introducing themselves. So they go out to industry to market companies in many ways anyway, and then to get our students to do work integrated learning. And those who completed their course, of course, we don't just dump them. We still carrying them for the graduate program so that they can be employable. And then that is the other part of cooperative education. And we also have the other part whereby I think Sylvia, Miss Mukanazi, is responsible for that. She is responsible for all the CVs of the student in the front office, working with a team of students that we are training. She is supervising those students, and Mr. Mabelani is mentoring those students. And then they get all the CVs in our office, and then so that we can send them to the company. She has the whole team of students, and Mr. Mabelani and Mr. Mushala, they are also responsible for the funding of the student. I apply for the funding, they run, they implement. So they have their assistants, the project assistants that are not here. They assist them with the whole lot of admin work that comes with the funding. And then we also have the part of where we keep the data. Priscilla is not here this evening. She is responsible for all the stats of the student. She is responsible for the application of the student that we receive. That is the CV that goes to Mrs. Mkonazi. So Miss Maglodlo is responsible for that. That is CISP. I always call her CISP. And then she is responsible for that, all the application. Out of the application, she will then give us students who are eligible. And then at the end, we will get those who are placed and then those who are not placed, so that Mr. Mabelane and Mr. Mushala can run with those ones. We also have part of Mrs. De Santos, which is Garland. I call them Sis, all of them, Sis Carlin. She is responsible for the report of the student. When the student, she will elaborate more, but she is more in the part of the reports of the students and the diploma applications and she is in the production line of the student who should send their information to administration so that the student can be able to graduate. And then we have, who do I leave out? I think I did talk to about the two colleagues that are assisting Mr. Mabelane and Mr. Mushala. And I also talked about the team in front of us that are assisting Ms. Mukonazi. And we've got the main person. That person is she's my right hand, if I can say. That is Ms. Lena Dreyer. I also call her Sis Lena. And then, Sis Lena is, without her, I don't know how I will cope, because with my meetings, my everything that I'm doing, she is taking care of my office anyway. In a nutshell, I can say she is taking care of my office. She is making sure that my diary is up to date. And then she advised me as well, how can I juggle around my appointments and everything that I'm doing, because I'm working with external stakeholders and internal, and as well as too many people around. So every day is just too many meetings. So she is definitely administering the whole lot of admin. She's not even assisting me alone. She's also assisting everybody, let me say, everybody in cooperative education with other things. So she is a very, very key person in cooperative education as well, just like other colleagues. Without one colleague in cooperative education, the other little office will never run. Yes.
And if you don't know your way around, Lena is the starting point. I agree with you that this is really the pillar for the entire organization. Sis Annie, we're going to come back to you to learn more about your own background. So hold it there, but keep that in mind that we want to hear where it all started, right? And of course, let me allow Ndate Rabula to. Ndate Rabula, you now have a big picture. It doesn't look small as we always thought, as Dr. Moletsane was just introducing this. This is a comprehensive, tight team, but by look of things, they're doing more than you can imagine. Any reflection so far? What you have heard from the leader of the cooperative education? Dr. Abula, you are on mute.
Oh, gosh, sorry, my apology. What I've heard from Dr. Moletsane, it's very simple of saying, her unit actually plays critical role to the students. And a critical portion of it, it may not be the 1,000 students of VUT, but that small portion make massive difference to the students who are, one section is on academic and one section is back at work, hands-on experience. And when the student finish or complete that duration, that student is ready. You can do anything else we can never think of, because there is sort of a transition between theory and practical at the same time. You don't have to wait for 3 years or 4 years or 4 years. You need to go back to the working environment. You've forgotten what you've learned in the first year, but when you keep on practicing simultaneously, it makes your life much more easier. There's something else which actually I'm of the view that maybe all the institutions should have a similar program, especially where the practical exposure could be afforded to the student. That's what I'm learning. Maybe my interpretation might be incorrect.
Well, we're going to come back to drill exactly on that, because you're touching on the actual purpose of this division. So don't forget those pointers. Once we have introduced all the portfolio holders, at the end of the day, it's about what brings this team together, which is what you have just touched on. Let's welcome Dr. Mhlala. And Dr. Mhlala, just introduce yourself in terms of the background and the portfolio that you are holding, and then we'll drill down later.
Good evening, Mr. Ziman. Good evening to the viewers. I'm in the role industrializing, which it's myself and Mr. Edwin. We are just the troopers. We are the street kids. We are on the ground. We are the ones going out to the companies to ensure that we forge those relations with the companies for placing our students, and also ensuring that we place them at the right companies that can offer them great quality exposure in the field of studies that they are pursuing with us at the university. And also, as Dr. Moletsane mentioned, we implement the projects that we are running within the department, which mainly would be from external funders, assisting our students on their journey of work integrated learning with stipends and maybe some tools or anything of that sort. Even with companies, projects that we are doing with them, we are the ones that are in the forefront to ensure that we facilitate documentation and admin that is involved in such partnerships, ensuring that the Office of the Director has all the documentation, all documentation is up to date, and we implement all that is needed. So that's mainly what we do in the department, and also building the relations with the students, structures within the university, so that we can reach out to our students at large and also know where they're coming from, try to build relations with the companies where these students are coming from, to avoid situations where you have a student placed in Sentin and is from Limpopo, and the stipend received is very little. So there's other factors that we look into also during the process of placing these students. So that's mainly the role that we are playing in this work integrated learning project. Thank you.
And you have been doing this role, playing this role, you and Dr. Mabelane. How has this role grown and evolved over years? If you look 5 years, 10 years back, and where you are now, what has been the growth so far?
When you look at that, mainly when we joined in the department, roughly I could say about 11 years ago, which Dr. Edwin was even more in that role than I was in. Mainly then it was more placing the students for the practical exposure, but then it evolved to an extent that now we even consider other social issues that we need to address, so that we do not have a situation where we just place students and nothing happens after. So employability, that's another thing. That's where it evolved now, the employability of these students. After placing them, how employable are they? So Mr. Mablane surely will introduce another project that we're busy with, which is mainly the one that is also driving, ensuring that we prepare these students for the industry in terms of soft skills, understanding the expectations of the industry from the students, also just simple things like teamwork and so forth. So there's a formal project that we do at the university that focuses on their employability. And also this intervention of SETAs that Dr. Moletsane goes out to apply for every time. It's meant now to also enhance the employability. This gives the students a platform where they can show off their capabilities to potential employers for them, so that in future, if they are really having the skills that the companies require, they are employed. So it is evolved from just placing students to obtain qualification to placing the students, ensuring their employability, also ensuring that we place them at companies that would offer them the good quality exposure needed. And furthermore, now we even do due diligence in terms of these students or the partners that we're working with. Are they really ready to host our students? How ready are they? And to what extent are the students to benefit in such an environment? And also considering the factors that we are having a nation that is so imbalanced economically. So as we deal with these students, we consider those factors to say, let's cover them and include them. Those that are excluded, maybe by economic reasons, we include them in the system, we enhance that employability, and in future we have our alumni that can recognize and relate well with the university. So the role has evolved very much from where it came from, where it was simply just placement. So there's much that is happening around that. I think looking at it into the future, we will be having psychologists maybe dealing with these students, because currently that's what we maybe not doing, in a sense of understanding where the mental state of these students is, or the way things are going, we might be going in that direction, because the same division, which is the department, it's a division within the department that Dr. Moletsane is leading, which is dealing with academic advising. When these students are struggling academically, we have somebody there to take them through those things. So looking at this placement part also, I foresee it also going there, where we'll be now dealing with other factors that affect the students in the workplace while doing their training.
We'll definitely come back there. There's quite a lot to learn from the portfolio at large. Dr. Moletsane spoke about the engine room and the people behind the scene that makes you guys shine out there. And I will be wrong not to give Cullen. Cullen, you are you there? I want you to just introduce yourself and also pick up the point that we touched on when we were getting ready for this show, record management. I can imagine if Natemhlala and Edwin Mabelane are out there, and the dependence that they have on the record and the data that you guys behind the scenes are taking care of. Perhaps just first introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your portfolio. I know you have been on this portfolio for quite a while. You actually made it what it is, if I'm not wrong. Over to you.
Good evening to everyone, and thank you, Mr. Tsima. I'm Carlin dos Santos. I'm the WIL administrator. Yes, after Simon and Edwin has done all the placements of the students need to register. after registration, they have to submit reports. So the reports are submitted to the WIL coordinators, but also to me, so I can keep record. I open a file for each and every student. I capture the reports as we receive it. I capture it on the student's profile, the date and what report was received. Then I make sure that the reports get delivered to the WIL coordinators. Now, after COVID, they started to email the reports. So they evaluate the reports and then they have to send me the mark sheets from the reports of the students, which I have to capture again on the student's profile, and I have to send it to the registrar's office for capturing on the student's academic record. Then we also get queries from the students, so I have to give feedback to students about their reports. If it was declined, then they have to redo the reports, resubmit the reports. They have to come and collect the reports. If they have submitted hard copies, the ones with email, the WIL coordinators inform the students via email and they correct it and send it straight to the WIL coordinator. And then at the end, when they're done with all their reports, they have to apply for the diploma. So the diploma application also come, and that whole report of the student must be attached to that application that goes to the exam office or first to the HOD for approval. And from there, it goes back to the exam office. And that is our throughput when that students leave. But it sounds very short, but it's quite a hectic, yes, for each and every student, and you have to give feedback to them all the time. But yeah.
Yeah. Wow. And as you say, that goes to the HOD to determine the ultimate results, and then of course completion of the studies.
Yes, diploma. They apply for the diploma application, and if the HOD approve that all the subjects was completed and everything is fine, then they approve the application, and then only the students will be able to graduate.
Wow! So the record keeping is the strength of that final stage. I can imagine if you didn't capture everything that the student submitted, the drama that can take place in your department. Has that happened before?
Yes, definitely. Sometimes you omitted something. Sometimes it happens, but they always come to me quickly, the WIL coordinators, and ask me, when was this report received? Do you have proof? And luckily, I write out the reports in a book, and they have to sign in my book when they receive the report. So that is written, and that helped me quite a few times for them to tell them, but listen, you received the report, I'm waiting for the mark sheet. Yes, you get students who submitted the report like in 2 days ago, and then today they want their results, which it can't happen, and they don't understand that. So yes, there's quite a lot of those instances.
Who does the quality assurance of the records that you keep?
It's the WIL coordinators, and then I also give reports to the director of all the registrations done and all the reports received and diploma applications and all those things. So I do on a monthly basis and quarterly, semester and annual reports that I submit to the director.
Beautiful, beautiful. Wow. I think the next colleague that we have is Sylvia. If I understood very well, you come in at the point of placement of students once that Mhlala and Edwin Mavelane have commitments from companies. Companies will request to have the portfolios in the form of CVs and other things. What else do you have to input? And of course, introduce yourself as well, Sylvia.
Good evening, colleagues and listeners. My name is Sylvia Mkwanazi. I am the Information Coordinator at Cooperative Education. The main aim of the office, we keep the CVs for the student for placement. When students are on their senior phase, we encourage them to register on our systems called WILMs. On that system, they can change their status at any time, anywhere. For them to register on WILMs, we provide the link. With the link, there is information guiding them how to register on.
I think we are losing you there, Sylvia.
Perhaps Sylvia can
They are
switch off the
recently
video.
certified.
Yeah, you can put down your video so that we don't lose the audio, Sylvia. Yeah, we're losing you there. I think if you put your video off, yeah, then much better. We lost it. We lost you there. If you can repeat yourself, it would be great.
Okay, there's a system where we encourage the students to register on, which is called WILMs. And then when registering on WILMs, all the documents must be certified, recently certified. For them to register on WILMs, there's a link that we provide. They can register anytime, anywhere. They can change their documents anytime, anywhere, depending on their status during that time. We also keep the database for eligible, placed, and unplaced students. The students who are eligible are those students who are ready for practical to go for their WIL training. All eligible students receive a WIL letter from my office. The process of eligibility is confirmed by the academics. Before the confirmation before the academics confirm the eligibility, I cannot give the WIL letter. All placed students are coded on WILMs to differentiate between those who are working and those who are eligible and those who are still looking for placement. We code them.
So the record that you keep is actually all sorts of profiles of the entire student group that is part of the WIL. Is that
Yes,
including
the
the
senior
alumni as
students.
well? Is that including the alumni?
Yes, yes, we also have alumni on our own WILMs.
Wow.
Because we also place them, those who are still in need of placement. We also place the graduates.
Wow.
Okay, all the students who are eligible are those who are ready for placement for the database that we keep with students that are eligible, placed, and unplaced. All eligible students receive a WIL letter from us, and then the academics has to confirm that.
So
The
you
office
must
is
be the
also
most, Sylvia, I imagine that you must be the most wanted person by the WIL students from the beginning to the end.
Yes, I think because they know that our office is responsible of keeping their documents, and there's information that they need, what documents they need to upload on the system. They also come to our office.
Wow, beautiful,
Yes,
beautiful.
the office is also responsible to schedule. We're also responsible to schedule company presentations and also schedule interviews on the campus. in the past, we had managed to coordinate successful interviews with well-known big companies. During the presentation by companies, there are a lot of activities that take place, including the question. Companies will ask the question to students, and then when there's Q's and A's during the presentations, and then the students will be able to answer the question. Sometimes they'll get trips to visit the plant, or else they'll get some goodies from the companies.
And I can imagine you also responsible for the workshops on campus that make them ready for those interviews, and also for transitioning to their places of practicals, right?
Yes.
Wow. And Sis Annie, I'm going to ask Rapula and Rapula to reflect on all these portfolio introductions. Do you want to talk a little bit to what CISP does? Because I want us to get a full picture of the puzzle, you know.
Okay. Thank you very much, Brasem. CISP, after we have gathered all the CVs in front of us where Sylvia is working, then CISP will record there all those one. She will do the database of all the applicants. Out of the applicants, we assume that the applicants will be students who completed their theory, just waiting for work integrated learning, and those who completed their degrees or diplomas. But it doesn't happen like that. The applicant in terms of will come with students who still having one module, theoretical module, or two theoretical module. That's where our Priscilla sit and look at this student and communicate with the faculties as well, as much as our Sylvia is also doing that. And then she will actually make sure that when we talk about the eligibility of work integrated learning student, it's not students who are carrying any theoretical subject. Then we will have those who applied, and we will also have, she will have those who are eligible to be placed, that Mr. Mhlala and Mr. Mabelano will run and place them. In the front office as well, in Ms. Mkonazi's office, they are also getting requests from industry, then they will place them. We also have those that are placed. As Priscilla at the end, she needs to do the database of all the students who are placed and registered. As much as our Scarlett is getting them from our ITS, but then our Priscilla is getting them from the Work Integrated Learning Management System, which is WILMS, the one that our Sylvia was talking about. And then from there, that placed and registered students, we will then know that our students are placed and they are registered for work integrated learning already. And then we also have the one that we are placing. CISP is responsible again to, from that group of applicants, will take out as well those who are placed but not registered. So those who are placed but not registered is because of too many things. You'll find out that maybe when we need the stats, it's not even month end. The student was placed in the beginning of the year, and then in the beginning of the month, say March the 1st. And at the same time, the student is not registered for work integrated learning in the middle, maybe, or towards the end of March, and we need to provide the stats. So we group them as placed but not registered. Then up until they register, then they will be part of those who registered. We also have a group of those students from the applicants that our Priscilla is extracting from the applicants to say that these are the students who registered, but these students were not qualifying to go out for work integrated learning. Therefore, we go back to the faculty to say that we've got this student, and then they are not actually eligible for WIL. And you will find out that maybe the faculty thought the student is eligible for WIL because they will write an exam or they wrote an exam. But then if they fail, we don't know immediately if the student did not pass the module. So the faculty will then assist us, then we will get the student in the drawing board again. And then we'll encourage the student to bring their new CVs. That's where our spiritual feature. Every time when I report in the FMC meetings, she will then give me the data of a particular faculty so that I can present it in the faculty. The only report that we are doing, or she is doing, if it's all the faculties, is the one that is that I submit to my line manager. But then the other reports, I actually present them in the faculty management committees. That's where she is actually featuring. And if the student again did not send, there are documents that the CV should come with when they register in the system. Some of the students, they don't upload all the documents that are needed. Then she will then contact the student and say, I see that you have actually put your CV or upload your CV in the system, but the proof of ID document is not there. So then the student will send it, then it will be part of the package of the student. Then our Sylvia will then be able to send the CV out to industry with the rest of the documents. Yes.
Before Ndaterapula comes in here, Ndatemhlala, I want you to talk to your collaboration with the mentors and the faculty coordinators from the industry side. How is that coordinated? Because I understand that you have faculty coordinators and mentors that visit your students once you have placed them in the industry, and what kind of information you require from them, and what dynamics and challenges have you and Edwin experience when you visit companies to reinforce the relationship, if I may say.
Okay. Thank you, sir. We call them work integrated learning coordinators, WIL coordinators. So each and every faculty has a representative, which is somebody that we know that if we need anything in that particular department, so we'll have a faculty, and in the faculty there'll be departments. Let's say in applied sciences, applied and computer sciences, we'll have it as a faculty, and then under that we'll have a department called biotechnology or non-destructive testing, which mainly it's the courses. So each and every course has that person whom, if I go to a company and we forge a relationship there, this person, because he's the expert in this case, would then visit with me or after me to go check that according to the syllabus or how our curriculum is structured, the company will have the sufficient facilities and space to host our students and give them the adequate training or exposure. And thereafter, they would then visit for monitoring. So meaning just to come and check how the student is doing, and also to evaluate the student whilst at the company, just to hear feedback from the company. The mentors allocated or supervisors allocated by the company to the particular student as to how do they perceive the student. Is there any gap that we need to cover as a university? And also the same mentors at the company would then play a role in our board advisory meetings, where we invite them to come join us as the university and advise us on our shortcomings, in sense to say, what is the industry doing currently? Are we meeting that? Are we producing the graduates that they are looking for? Or there's a gap that we need to cover? If so, what is that gap? And we therefore prepare ourselves to respond to what the companies require, and also the industry itself or the sector that they'll be operating in, as so that we do not have a situation where we just have students in class, teach them what we think the company needs, and thereafter, when they are supposed to go to the companies, they are just not fit for purpose in the company. So that's the kind of relationship that we have, and the mentors are there also to help us maintain this relationship with the companies by making sure that every time they visit there, they check if we can maybe add other students. Are they fine with these ones? The kind of students that we are producing for them, is it what they require, or we are lacking as a university, or what actually needs to be done? So we have a relationship where we give in and we get to receive a feedback from our main client, because we produce these students and teach them for them to be able to join the labor force and respond well for the company. So that's how our relationship is structured. So it starts with us knocking on the doors, and then come the mentors, the WIL coordinators, visiting the students whilst there, get the feedback. Would also come in anytime in between. If there's any challenges, we are just a phone call away for the mentors at the companies, and then we get to resolve any other issues that may arise during the stay of our students at the companies.
Lovely, lovely. Thank you so much, Ntatemhlala. It's really comprehensive, and it's very educational what you've just shared with us now. The collaboration that is required to support the students. At the end of the day, everything else we're talking about here is about the students becoming successful in terms of their studies, but also in terms of their understanding of the world of work. Nadirabula, you will realize that Ntate Mavelane has been on the line, and I haven't rushed to bring him in because I wanted him to settle down. But what is interesting and what is important for the viewers to note is that his portfolio and Mr. Mohlala's portfolios are quite very much similar, with some few little tweaking there, but otherwise they're doing the same thing. And Ntate Mavelane, I remember very well that he is the graduate of the WIL program himself, and he has been here from student days. I don't know how long that was, and I think there's a lot. I just wanted that Rapula, as you come on board, to allow Ntate Mavelane, if he can, just to share with the people the experience of having been a student and transitioning into doing exactly what he was done to him by other people in the university and in the co-op division. I know both of them are on the road. It's misleading. You think they are with us here. They are somewhere in the field visiting companies. So they can also share with us, Ntaterapula, how it is out there early in the year. I don't know whether you can hear me, and I don't know whether you are able to show your camera, but let's hear your voice if you are able to.
Okay. Good evening, and good evening to the listeners, to the viewers. I'm gonna try and show the camera. I'm not sure if I'm visible because I'm not home. Yes. Okay. It's fine. Yes. The transition. It's just for the listeners and viewers to know. Actually, Dr. Moletsane was my supervisor when I was doing my service training. At that time, it was called in-service training. So I studied at the very same institution, and then I was afforded an opportunity to do my service training, and I was mentored and somehow declared competent by Dr. Moletsane at that time. So there has been some changes, yes. And Mhlala has said a lot. He has covered everything as far as our roles are concerned. So, but just to add on what he said, you'll remember that when the students come for the first year to tertiary institutions, the universities have programs that help them adapt from high school to the tertiary institution, because somehow we tend to believe that they may have been inadequately prepared or just differently prepared, therefore they may not cope. Now, that is what cooperative education and work integrated learning it is doing to the final year students. So it is assisting with that transition into the world of work. Because oftentimes you'll realize that in the olden days, you'll find huge companies where it's a company, but they still had their own academy because of the disconnect between what the institutions are producing versus what the industry is needing. So with work integrated learning, then we are able to bridge that gap, because this is, as Dr. Moletsane has said, it's a niche area for universities of technology. That's what sets it apart from traditional universities, some of the comprehensive universities, not all of them. So the work integrated learning it is, and what has changed again to the Decima and the viewers, in the olden days, I think the numbers have increased. The numbers of students that needs placement, that has drastically shifted, because I think even if you were to look in some of the white papers, you are from the government itself, the higher education qualification sub framework, somewhere in page 11, it puts the responsibility of placing those students entirely on the institution. So it's like the institution is no longer helping, but it is mandated to say, if you have admitted these students, you need to take them out there. Then that falls on the shoulders of Dr. Moletsane to ensure that which the government requires is actually implemented. So yeah, the shift mainly, it has been on the numbers that has increased, and the role of co-op no longer being assigned as a helper, but as somebody who must actually make it happen. And then other challenges, I think Mr. Mhlala has spoke about them, and others we may discuss as we go forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that elaboration. It's really helping to paint the picture even much clearer. Ndadera Pula, if you are somebody in the industry listening to what we are listening now from the WIL perspective, what stand out in your mind that the industry should actually take note of? But of course, let me allow you also to reflect before maybe you answer my question.
Yeah, Sam, let me reflect first, because I look at this unit as a part of the value chain. You know, value chain, you've got intake of students, processing of the students, and output of those students. So what I'm looking at this moment is my interpretation of the whole thing is that this is a value chain. And in the value chain, when you start it, it's going to have some gaps. But as you start growing up now, you start filling the gaps very effectively. As an employer, I'll look at this as, now I've got a choice to who do I recruit, because I'm training those students at the basic, at entry level, before they can even go into the market. That I can choose Edwin from the onset. So Edwin might be a very bright student, or maybe a bright output from this program. So upfront, please make sure that Edwin comes to my business all the time, to make sure that I choose upfront. So in a nutshell, you reduce recruitment costs for me as an employer, because all those things are done by the institution itself. There's one area which I look at it as from external perspective, I'm a little bit weird in terms of saying why the industry hasn't taken this to the front line of saying, here is the recruitment agency, and they do it as early as possible. Rather than for me to put cost on the recruitment, the university is placing cost on themselves. Maybe I should donate to the university, part and parcel of my recruitment costs, and put it back to the institution to prepare for me, a new employee coming to my business. That's why I look at the entire value chains. But there are areas which, as we continue on talking, a person can try to explore them in terms of saying, For example, if I go to Caroline, where she mentioned the student submitted reports, and at the back of my mind, oh, this report could be a portfolio of evidence. So the terminology might be different, but it's identical in terms of what they do in that space. And in that value chain, each and every value chain will have a portfolio of evidence. Hence, the reports will keep them coming out. And as the data which you manufacture, bring out the output of it. This is so far, which I can sort of look at. So this is a value chain. I would say the value chain is perfect, but the output of it should be perfect.
Yeah.
That's I might be wrong, Dr. Moletsane, in this space.
Beautiful. I think, yes, Dr. Moletsane.
I just wanted to say, Dr. Rapula, you are right on the spot. Definitely, because cooperative education is an umbrella term that is covering work integrated learning and all activities. We talk about partnership in cooperative education, and is the partnership between the student, the university, and industry. So then, meaning that all of us, we've got responsibilities that we have towards one another. We also have roles to play to each other as a triangle, like student, industry, and university. You are spot on that we are actually assisting industry to go out and advertise. They save a lot from us, because when the student is doing work integrated learning, if the company wants that student, they keep the student, they put the student in a graduate program. After the graduate program, they absorb that student. But it depends as well on the willingness of the student or hardworking of the student. Some of the students, they don't show that, but most of the students, when they do work integrated learning, they really impress industry. Hence, they get employable. Hence, we are saying we want to reduce the unemployment rate of South Africa by activities of cooperative education and student support service jointly. We are definitely doing that. So you are quite correct that we are doing a great job, and industry as well, they are doing a great job, because without them, we are nothing. If we are having this module of work integrated learning and there is no company that wants to take these students, then we must know that we are not going to have a throughput rate. The university will stuck with students who completed their theory, but not the work integrated learning. Vice versa, the student will also, they also need industry, because of them to attain their qualification, they need to do that module. If they don't do that module, when you place them and they keep on actually going out from the program, at the end, they will have that theory that will expire at any time, because it does when curriculum changes. So then they will keep that, but they won't graduate. They won't have the certificate in their hand. So we need each other in that
Absolutely.
triangle.
Absolutely, and that's why I think for me, this conversation today is demonstrating exactly that. That if you lose certain elements of the entire value chain, you could actually affect the ultimate product or the outcome. And I think that is, for me, is fundamental. Yes, you have painted the structure and the portfolios, but I'm sure there are programs and interventions that bind all this. And then at the end of the day, maybe let me also put it in the form of a question to say, when we say we are successful, it is when we have achieved what? Maybe let's use 2024 as an example, to be specific and reflect on all our portfolios. This is not a performance review, but it's just to share with the viewers, as Simon Mutlala, as Sylvia, as Colin, as Edwin, who else am I leaving out? Everybody else. When we say we are successful, and we are not talking to anybody else but ourselves, we're sitting as a team, we are reflecting is when we have achieved what, and if we use 2024, maybe one example so that people can understand what drives you to wake up in the morning to want to be doing what you are doing, because it can't just be about the salary. There must be something strong that drives you to want to be part of this. And when that is there, that's a success for you. Should we start with you again, Datemhla?
Well, just knowing that you've given somebody a platform to thrive on, that on its own just gives us that energy. And that's why also when you look at the role that CSP is playing, Ms. Madlodo, where she comes with the statistics. We want to know how many students did we have for this year. Out of all those students, how many did we manage to place? How many are still left behind? That also helps us to see that we have achieved. When we see much students in terms of percentages being placed and are doing their training somewhere at the company, roughly, or what we normally strive for, to ensure that we place them at a company that may take them beyond the term of their work integrated learning. That also, just getting a feedback that beyond the term of the work integrated learning, these particular students were then given a contract either on a short term or long term. That also for us it's an achievement. So again, it's when we get funders that help our students receive a stipend during their period of work integrated learning from the CETAs mostly. That on its own also for us, it's an achievement to say at least we've enhanced that work integrated learning for students that come from disadvantaged background, seem to be seamless or easier for them to do without much other challenges, but to focus on what they need to do at work and so forth. So that to us, it's an achievement. And like now, dispersing those funds to the direct beneficiaries and knowing that it's going to a good cause and all of them are receiving those grants or stipends that we've received from the CETAs, it is an achievement. So that's mostly what keeps me going, and I believe so it is to my colleagues. Maybe they can add also some of those aspects that makes us gauge ourselves or see ourselves as having achieved something.
And then how was it in 2024 and the
in 2024, in terms of our rates, I remember, I think Dr. Moletsane can give the statistics there, but I know we did well. I think, if I'm not mistaken, we're at around 70 to 80% of our students that needed placement at the time were placed. So, but I stand to be corrected on that. And also in terms of funding, I think Dr. Moletsane can also state there, but if I remember, we've got almost about nine or so CETAs that we are currently administering. And if you look at the amounts, we're talking roughly, I'm not sure, a tune of plus minus maybe 40 million, but I think Dr. Moletsane would know the stats on that. So just looking at that amount of money also, you can think of the beneficiaries of those projects to say it went to a good cause. And also we have students that were absorbed by companies where we placed them before. Some are on long-term contracts, and like now where Mr. Mabdelane is visiting some of our students that were in the biomedical technology field, and there was money that was outstanding due to them. And we're just making sure that these people are still there. The money that is to be paid to them is paid to the relevant people. And sad to also state that from my side of visits, we picked up 2 of our students, unfortunately have passed on, and there was still something due to them, But the good side of it is there are some that currently are working. in the most of our public hospitals, doing the testings, for people when they come, the DNAs and so forth. So these are students that were with us, and now we know where they are. These are alumni, and for us making an effort to make sure where they are and making sure what is due to them is, meeting them, their excitement, they are happy that the university is making an effort to follow them. And I can tell you now that this exercise, for somebody who's sitting somewhere, might not see it as a fruitful exercise, but I can tell you that in the next coming few years, somebody will testify about these efforts that the department is making, because from just the ones that we've met, their comments to say we never thought, and here we are today. That on its own is an achievement for us. Yeah, I think that's all I can share so far. Thank you.
No, I wanted to ask Mr. Mohlala a question.
Yes.
Or maybe a statement to say when you get, I'm going to use unresearched information of saying what the universities are producing and what we need as industry. They are not matching. I'm not sure whether there's a research collaborating that, but it's more like a statement coming from now and then. But what you are raising to us now to say, because we engage with industry all the times, probabilities of producing students which are not relevant to the industry becomes very minimal. The question is how to explore those industry, especially in an IT environment where this type of statement becomes extremely minimal. This is where I'm just asking the question, this please. Thank you.
So there is a research, and then there is a reality. And I think what is beautiful here, these are living examples of what is happening out there. And the question is, to what extent there's a disparity between the two. And I'm sure you are burning to respond to that.
No, not exactly, because Dr. Mohlala has done a thorough job. But now, on the question of success, I think the impact beyond the academic qualification. When you get the industry coming back to you, going back to Dr. Moletsane, or the students themselves, when they meet Dr. Moletsane, where she does not even recognize them, but they recognize her, they said, this is how we wish, or this is what we wish we knew before we went into the industry. Or the industry themselves coming back to you as the institution saying, because you are open, you're engaging, you don't feel like these students, you've just dropped them with us. Therefore, when we have challenges, we are able to talk to you. It takes a lot to convince the industry to participate in an institution, because at times they are thinking this is just a compliance, a box ticking kind of an exercise. But if they are continuously engaging, that means that is a feedback. So for us, it shows the success, because it is the impact that the students or the programs have, which are beyond the qualification that they get. Yes, they get the qualification, but we ended up shaping or building their character for a better somebody in the future. So that success, as much as it may be fewer here and there, but it is a success for us to say we do get feedback from the industry, from the students themselves, who are grateful, who are noticing now that they may have been blindsided before with mob psychology, cram, pass, forgetting on how to apply this, you cannot be a biotechnology student and not live a scientist life. You cannot be an IT somebody and not, everything that you see, it should be, where does IT fit in? So that's when they start to live their profession at campus or out there, they get to interact with the people and they come and give us feedback. For me, that is part of the success. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. I mean, if you were to stop what you were doing, then the situation will even be much more dire. So you're holding forth and burning fires so that the bigger fire can catch up. And I think we need to be grateful for that. There is still hope there that these graduates, as you have seen through some of our last year that we invited, the amount of impact they are making And I think these pockets of excellence are necessary. And I can imagine if I'm Colin, I hope you're still there, when you're invited to come to a graduation at VUT, and you know graduation is something special where even the stakeholders you don't get to see through the year, you'll see them at graduation, and you count among the graduates there that those that came through you will. I'm sure that is one thing you first look at, and you say, yes, those reports that are pushed through, this is the impact they made. Look at as we are celebrating with the parents. These are our graduates. That's when you start to realize that you are not actually behind the scenes. You are actually in the front in the form of the product that you contribute towards. And that's why I take my head off for people that don't show on the platforms in the front when we are busy producing talent, that on the day of graduation, it must be such a great fulfillment. You don't even want to do on camera. You just want to sit back and say, "That's are my students." Am I talking the language, same language, Carla?
Definitely. That is the best feeling when you can see that smile on the student's face, the excitement when they ask for their results and I can give them their results, and when they know they're going to graduate. And then I know it's goodbye. I won't see you soon. But it makes me feel so good to see them happy, because that is what we want. We want the students to be happy and to succeed.
Yeah. Will I be right to say, therefore, this kind of work that you colleagues are doing, it's more than the job, it's more than the career, it's a calling. Am I right?
Yes, they feel like children. They feel like our children. To me, sometimes I call them children. Yeah, they feel like we must look after them.
Yeah, yeah. Especially if they come back and say, "Thank you so much. You know, look at me where I am."
Yes.
I still remember the conversation we had with Mr. Mugiba and his alumni graduates. I mean, the pride that they took that invite with preparing to come to the show and talking to us, but at the back of their mind, you could tell that they were talking to their peers out there and saying, please don't miss this opportunity. So I mean, I'm thinking of the work that Sylvia is doing. That is cumbersome. You know, the tension that the students go through when they've submitted their CVs and they're sitting at home hoping to receive that call, say, come to the interview. And if it doesn't happen, you start to looking around and who can I blame? Did Sylvia really submit my CV? Was it well packaged? Or what happened? Sylvia, and then I'm going to ask you to come in and tell us, for how long have you been doing this kind of work and what makes you wake up to continue doing it, knowing very well that you can be blamed for everything? Sylvia?
Okay, actually, I'm new at Fanny Bay Park. I started at Secunda campus, but I'm 25 years at VUT.
Wow.
I'm from Secunda, but I was working with students. I was placing them. I used to receive CVs from them and send the CVs to the companies. You know, sometimes it is nice to see the well-informed student, not only academical, because remember these students, they coming from some of them, they coming from rural areas. You need to inform them about how to behave during employment when they're doing their will, or else when they are employed. Remember, they don't know anything from high school to university, from university now why, how. So you have to inform them correctly how to behave. It's another world. You have to inform them.
Wow, beautiful. And you have been doing it for so long. That speaks to that calling aspect that I'm talking about. And Rapula, from mentoring and coaching, he will tell you, you come across so many people that are doing jobs that is not really connected with who they are. So is this any? I'm sure. That must be one of the questions when you are interviewing people for this role. Will you really be here 5 years from now? Because this is tough.
Yes. Thank you, Brasem. It is indeed tough. But as you are saying, it's a calling. I just want to say in cooperative education and joining our student academic development, it's like they understand my language. They actually do. I always say when you are a leader, you need to lead by example. Then the people that you are leading, they will definitely do exactly, whether you do a wrong thing or not, because there is something wrong that I'm doing, and then they are doing it now. I see. I don't take lunch. They also don't take lunch, and I never had I said to them they mustn't take lunch. We are working very, very hard. We don't even see the lunchtime and whatever. It's definitely a calling to work in cooperative education. Not everybody can work there. Most of the people, they think we work nice, they want to be part of co-op and whatever. When you look at them, you say, they don't know that 1 month is enough. They will just quit. In cooperative education, we actually took ourselves as a family, as a team, as colleagues, as brothers and sisters, regardless of our color of skin, regardless of anything. We are like that. So that is what keeps us going. And at the same time, that's what keeps us to achieve. I want to go back to your question, Brasem, when you were saying, what is it that makes us to think we have actually achieved our objective? Colleagues have said too many things, but if we come for if we talk about the stats, as Mr. Mukhala mentioned that he's not sure about the stats, but he actually see according to our applicants, our eligibility student and the place, you can see that we did a great job. So our target that the university gave us was 80% for 2024. At the end of 2024, we should have placed 80% of our students, our eligible students. But last year, we managed to do 90%.
Wow.
Placement, 90% placement. And then we are very much grateful, because there was the time whereby we don't even have CV of the student. We will go to our social media platforms where we communicate with the student to bring their CVs. And I just want to say to people out there, our listener and our student, that even if you can bring the CV in cooperative education, that doesn't mean you will get placement. We don't dump our students to industry. Industry interview the students. Students should be mindful of that if your academic record is not good, so then companies will never ever call you for an interview. So then they must make sure that their academic record is good. And at the same time, they need to know that there are many factors that are influencing their placement. Not that there is no company, but that it can be their blockage, financially blockage for the university. It's too many things involved, And then back to what Ntate Rapula was saying, that Ntate Rapula, we were worried. We still have anyway a national issue of what we produce and what industry demand. The demand was not really satisfying from quite a long time. And research was revealing that. I'm one of the people that make a research on that, because I was wondering why industry is saying we produce what they don't need, and why there is a gap between what we offer and the demand. Then I made that little research, and I realized that it's too many things. It's about the skills that our students go or to industry with. And I thought Mr. Mabelane will touch on that because he's the one who's doing preparation of students. So then we realized that we don't prepare our students enough when we send them to the real world of work. And then at the same time, they lack skills that the university was not even aware that the student can lack those skills. Say, for instance, we say charity begins at home. So if the student comes with the mentality of when maybe they talk, they just say whatever they want with the lecturer or with industry partners and whatever. That is a lacking of some skills, and then we never thought. So in my findings, I realized that it's not even professional skills, because we give our students professional skills in the university. The faculties are doing a great job to make sure that they are professionally prepared, but it's simple soft skills. Simple soft skills that industry is actually crying for, to say that your student, they come unprepared, they don't have soft skills, they think the real world of work is the same as the university life. So then that is the reason why I think I thought Mr. Mabelane will touch on preparation of students, as well as other things that make us to shine, to say we did it. In terms of the student academic development, we've got the tutors that the university get for the students who are lacking, and then particularly in science, maths, and accounting. So we've got that unit that is taking care of such students every year. We've got the unit that is taking care of the mentoring of the students. They take the student, particularly from the first year level up until the student understand the university life. We've got the writing lab whereby our students are assisted with their writings, with everything that they are doing in terms of their academic achievement. We are driving the student success of our students in Valley University. We also have the academic advising. Once the student is not performing well, they are there for the student to find out what is the reason, how can the student be assisted. We are currently having systems that makes us aware of such students, like we launch the Bokamoso portal, whereby even though there was a little bit challenges, but at least we were getting some of the things that we need from that system, whereby it will identify the lacking student, and the student advisors will be able to see the student who's lacking and say, hi, do you need help? Maybe can we assist and whatever. We try our level best in our university to assist the student. That is why the main key of the university is the student success. We are focusing more of our students to succeed in their academic studies throughout, from the first year level up to the last year, and even when they graduated, we are assisting them. So I just wanted to say it's it's nice to see our student. When I was doing the work that Mr. Moshala and Mr. Mabelane was doing, I was always saying that, when I did the placement of one student, when I get home, I stretch my hand and say, wow, at least I've changed one person's life. So we are changing lives in the student academic development and work integrated learning department. So that's how we we are grateful. We work very hard under pressure, but we keep the ball rolling. Yes.
Wow. Thank you so much, Sis Annie, for covering all those. I really wanted to say that there are some what you call spices that you put into these core things that you do, and you have just addressed that. It's really the type of work that even industry partners, I think, needs to hear more. That you are making an effort, and when students escape that effort, it's not because you chose not to do anything about it. And maybe even those programs could become the type of programs that you go to the industry with for them to support them, to support the entire mission of producing relevant students. And then again, Dade Mushala spoke about the academic, what do you call it, the curriculum advisors. I think in the Rapula, that is a model that, in my view, during my days in the industry, I've heard of, and I still hear of it, and I have a feeling that it can be enforced even more. That the industry themselves go do what we call backward integration of efforts, to go and sit with the industry, with the universities, and influence the product for their own benefit and for the benefit of the country. So thanks for sharing that, because last year we had such colleagues in the university that are doing that, talking to us, the lab lady, the type of assistance that you need in the first years, and all those. And I think once we have finished with the series of positioning these portfolios, we need to go back there, because the knowing is what is needed. You might say that it's only students that come from rural areas that don't have the information. You'll be surprised that even those that you think they come from privileged background, unless you make them realize that there is something they don't know, they will not ask for it. But if we target the industry employers, the practitioners, the mentors, then I think this is really something that will shift the positioning. Thank you so much. Yeah, so I think I'm looking at time now. We need to be working towards the wrapping up. If we can just think of our closing remarks that you will want to close the show with, that will be great. If there's anything else that I haven't covered that you think we need to cover in this collective sitting, please do so. Otherwise, when we revisit each of the portfolios one by one, we will then go deeper into your portfolio as a profession. I hope you underline that. Now we are talking about your portfolio as part of the value chain. But we want to talk about your portfolio as a profession, so that there are more graduates out there and people in the industry wanting to join the unit like this, because as you've said, Annie, all UOTs have something like this. And therefore it's an initiative that can grow bigger. But maybe before we wrap up and checking out, Sis Annie, I wanted you to share with us that Mavelan mentioned that he is a graduate of this initiative. But I know that you are more than the graduate of what you are doing. To inspire those out there, girl children that are out there, where did you start? And I know we need the entire 1 hour, but please just quickly and give them a taste of what is going to be discussed with you when we zone onto you to share with the people about your portfolio as a profession. Just a few minutes.
Okay. Thank you very much, Brasem. Most of the people doesn't believe, but then we tend to believe what we see, not what we hear. So when I joined VUT, I only have short courses that I did. And then I actually started my career in VUT and outside the VUT. And it, when the students are challenged, particularly students who are coming from Mpumalanga, Limpopo, and whatever, they will normally come to my office and say, we have this, we don't have this, we are like this and whatever. I will say, sit down. Let me actually tell you about myself, not somebody else. And then I will relate my story that I will relate another time, not in this platform, in maybe another platform when we have time. But then starting my career, I was very fortunate because I had husband who was also studying. So he encouraged me to study as well. So I started my career and I studied. For a person who doesn't have too many friends like myself, my friends, it's, people that I'm working with. And then when we are together, my friend is my husband, my children. And then I was like, I learned to speak to my books every time. I made my books my friend because I had a shoulder to lean on in the house. The person who's encouraging me, the person who's supporting me when I'm sitting like this from 6 o'clock will make sure that when I'm done with everything, will then make food for us, and then I will just dish up and then we will eat. It wasn't easy for me because I started my career when I started my family. So it was very difficult to juggle between the two, to be a wife to somebody, to be a mother to somebody, and to work as well. So these things were really challenging. But then I did my national diploma in marketing management because I found myself in the space. It wasn't something that is in me. I found that space when I was hired in VUT, that I was an administrator of the associate director of marketing. And then I said, because I'm in marketing, let me study marketing. It was actually, I was enjoying. And then I did my BTech degree. And then I said, wow, okay, in marketing management, I said, I want to deviate a little bit. Let me just go out to another university. I did my Master of Commerce in Business Management. And then as I was doing with Northwest University, and then I came back to study postgraduate diploma in higher education to say that I'm in education now. All what I have to know is to know what is happening around myself. Then I took that. I did not want to measure with education per se. I had that tendency of, I want to be jack of all trade. I want to do different disciplines to know different things. I don't want just to specialize with whatever. I specialize in my work in cooperative education for years, 27 years in cooperative education. I regard myself as, a specialist in this field. So, but when coming to qualification, I then be fortunate when the university started to send the people to teaching advancement universities. We call it DAO fellowship. Then I was actually selected by my line manager. It was 4 of us from the faculties and myself from cooperative education. And then I was chosen. I was the first person in VUT to be a TAU fellow. Then I acquired the fellowship of TAU. And then I was actually I did my PhD, but I want to tell the girl children that it's not easy, guys, to get married, to have a family, and to work at the same time. When you have the opportunity, make use of it, because I did my PhD. I was not supported enough by the university because of my scope of work. Then I actually went out from the program. I came back again, and then I was like, not supported by the university that I was doing my PhD, lack of supervisors and whatever. And then I actually canceled the PhD. When I was sitting alone, I said, why should I do injustice to myself? Who wants PhD? Is it the supervisors? Is it my university? Or is myself? Then the answer was, it's you. And then I said, I'm going back. I said, I'm going back to that university because it's next to me. When I'm challenged, I will just run and then I will be sorted. But I pray that I mustn't get the same supervisor that I had previously. Guess what? They gave me the very same person. I said, it's me who wants this. I will continue. I did my PhD in public management of governance because I like governance too much, because I can see that we have lost everything because of governance. And then I said, let me just do public management and governance and learn more about governance. And then I did it. Lucky enough, then I made it and I received a golden key certificate. And then that, not everybody cannot get that certificate. I was proud of that, to say in my age. And then at this time, I will be able to encourage not only my children, but other children out there. Then those are the things that I motivate the girl child, and as much as people who are like me, to say that no matter how old you are, you can still make it. So then I made it. And then last year I got the certificate from, I actually was selected and then for the award of Women in Leadership. And I received that certificate through my colleagues who see my work and everything. I still say thank you very much to have the colleagues in my department who are like these colleagues, because they can see my efforts, even if I don't see it, but then they will make sure that then I achieved that award. I was one of the finalists within the 5 people, and I received that award. And then I keep on doing leadership courses and leadership and management courses. I completed the one with Heresa, and then they just sent me a confirmation that I made it. And I wrote an article in a chapter in one of the book that is published. Then I am going to buy the book. They encourage me to buy and sell those books. And I wrote 5 articles from my PhD, but not yet published. I'm working on the 2 currently. They are in the editing stage. And then I will publish. I will take another 2 when I'm done with the one. So that is my encouragement to my colleagues that I'm working with as well. No matter how difficult it is, they know our situation is not an easy space where we are, but they need to know that they should also take care of themselves. It was hard for me to take care of myself, but I actually persuaded to do that. And then I see now I was also selected to be a deputy chair of USAF, a World of Work Learning in Practice Community of Practice. And then I see things are happening, we are doing too many things. And then it's because of, let me say, be driven by a passion sometimes, and to be resilient sometimes, when things are happening, you just, be yourself. So then I want to encourage my group and students who are listening out there to say that do not make injustice of yourself. Should it happen that I did not do that, I was focusing on my work more than myself. So I should have completed my PhD long time ago, but then I don't regret, because it was a lesson and I can actually talk to people about that lesson that I've learned. and then they can also not do the mistake that I did. Thank you very much.
Beautiful, beautiful story indeed. We will definitely come back to that because I think we are in the space where we change lives, as you have said. And thanks for such sharing that inspirational reflection. Let me allow the colleagues to wrap up, reflect, and tell us what has this conversation done in you. I don't know whether I'm clear, Abula. I just want us to, as a way of checking out, to reflect on what we have actually, in our view, have achieved through holding a conversation like this. And what do you look forward to the day when we will have you and your portfolio as a profession, as a discussion? You want to be the first to wrap up, Rabula?
Yeah, let me put something else to wrap up. What I've learned thus so far, maybe my mind is combining those academic space and also business space, because one of the things which you do when you do your master's is try to be as practical as possible. So practicality becomes much more easier for you. Is that Dr. Moletsane has got massive tasks to do, and with that task, I think she'd require a lot of industry support, even including the government, because one of the things which you've picked up in the government is government systems are hacked left and right. They don't have IT guys who are trained to stop the hackers hacking the government systems. Perhaps it's an opportunity in the space of co-op education to say, why don't we get CETA to fund that aspect, and we train the hackers to make sure that that portion of the government is not hacked. It's one of the contribution I can put on the table for now. Maybe we can pursue it with the IT of the government in this space. But my learnings today is to say that value chain need to be tightened up, and that value chain need to be expanded. I think the future looks bright. That's what I could add. And that's my learning, and it's my take home in this space. And I'm looking forward to explore this unit further in future in terms of how do we make sure that the viewers sitting at home and listeners sitting at home said, but yes, this VUT is doing a wonderful job, but we need to quantify that with numbers in future. That's what I could add. Thank you very much, Moletsane and the team. And Tate Musala, you've got a lot, Linda Mabelan, you've got a lot of work to do, especially in looking in terms of exploring avenues which are not currently being explored within the institution to make sure that the value chain get widely expanded. Thank you very much. That's my contribution.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Rabula. I'm sure they will follow up on that suggestion, and maybe you also have some connections that you can place on the table for them to explore. Thank you. Thank you very much. Dade Mabelan, your closing remarks, reflections, and what do you look forward to when we look? I don't know whether you and Dade Mushala will do it together because your portfolio is the same, but we'll discuss that.
No, Mshala can do it for us. I trust him.
No, I'm trusting him.
Yeah. No, I mean, when we look at us as at portfolios as professionals, we are looking forward to sharing the information that at times may be misconstrued by both the student and the industry, not understanding what is it exactly that we do, how do we handle this, what is it, our areas of competence and that of other colleagues, and how well do we work with other, because some they may come to me with a challenge that is actually belonging to the faculty or to somebody else within the institution, that it may even take time to turnaround time to respond to that. So I think sometimes as we are building this relationship with the industry, sometimes people get to misunderstand your limits, to say, yes, you can go from here until here, but these are not your areas of competence. So I'm looking forward to exploring that, to say our areas of competence may range from this until this, but beyond this, probably it's Dr. Moletsane. Beyond this, it could be another internal stakeholder. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm really excited. You have prepared me. I'm I can't wait to start honing into the portfolios, sharing those experiences for the benefit of those who might want to pursue the kind of portfolio profession you're following. Colin, closing remarks and take away from the conversation today.
Yes, I want to say cooperative education is teamwork. It's totally teamwork. If one lacks, then the other can't continue. So it is totally teamwork, and I'm looking forward for the students or the viewers to join us and see what we can accomplish for them and to make them more successful.
Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much. And the portfolios that are so-called behind the scenes, I'm very interested in those, because there are hidden gems, and people don't know that there are jobs like those. And you're going to be very inspirational for people, and also to share with people what did you have that made you come into that portfolio and then stay so long in it and perfect it so much. Thank you so much, Carl, and I really can't wait. Sylvia, your turn now, and also tell us, please, as you check out, was it easy for you to transition from Secunda to the VUT? It's one organization we know, but I'm sure there are some differences. Check out for us, please. You are on mute if you are talking. Are you there, Sylvia? Okay. Let's go to Ndatim Khala while Sylvia is hopefully will be ready after you. Your closing remarks. What are you taking away from the session, and what can we expect from you when we're going to sit with you and drill down on your portfolio? I'm sure people don't know that you spend very few days at home, you and that Maryland. Maybe that's one of the first things to bring up.
Yeah, even when you apply for the position, you are told that you'll be traveling extensively. So you know that for sure that you're just going to be on the road. So, it's easier to say, yeah, no, I don't have a problem. But when you are faced with it, then you start feeling that pinch to say, yeah, no, this is a tough one. But then I'd just like to pick up from what Mr. Rapulana mentioned, that companies saying that we are not producing what they need. I think if we could understand that as a university alone, we can't know exactly what they need unless they forge relations with us. So it's like getting to a restaurant and you just want them to serve you X, but you don't tell them how you like your X. So if you tell them how you like your X, then you'll get exactly what you're looking for. So I'm urging that companies put an effort also by forging relations with us and allowing us to give them what they need, then tailor-make them ready for them to finalize them to what they need as a company. But standing back and just saying we don't get what we want does not help them. But forging relations with the universities to get what they want is what can solve the challenge that they are facing. In that, I think that's all I can say in this. And thank you for having this session. It made me reflect also and understand and see the great work that we're doing. Sometimes we get too busy immersing the daily challenges that we're facing daily, and end up forgetting that actually where do you make an impact as a person and professionally. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Every year South Africa sends a team of government officials, business leaders to the World Economic Forum. And when they arrive in Davos, they don't arrive as government, as business, as community. They arrive as Team SA. So this is exactly what we are looking for. That we must be Team SA in tackling the shortage of skills that this country is facing. So that's what I'm reading in our conversation, and I think if we can achieve that, then there will be no us and them. Even the researchers will make sure that everybody else is represented in that research, so that we produce some research that tells the truth. I'm not saying they are not telling the truth. Sometimes it depends who you speak to. So, yeah. Thank you so much, Dr. Mushala. Sylvia, you're back now. I hope you can also share some closing remarks with us.
Yes, I'm back. Also, I want to echo Ms. Caroline's words that we really need each other. If one is pulling the other direction, we cannot.
Oh man, I can see you are battling with your network there, but are you back? But we got the message. We got the message. We got the message. Thank you for that, Sylvia. The message is loud and clear, and I'm sure when CSP listens to the conversation, she will also have her own reflections on this, and hopefully, when we meet with her, maybe she must be the first to be on the next conversation, drilling down, so that she has the opportunity to follow through on the things we discussed. Thank you so much. Time is what we don't have. Let's bring it to the closure. Thank you so much, colleagues. This has been quite very inspirational, educational, and very reflective as well. And I'm sure we're going to build nicely on this when we meet with you individually. So this is VUT Student Academic Development Support and Work Integrity Learning Show that takes place on the last Wednesday of every month, with the exception of December and January. We have started, and I hope we'll be able to be with you every month and bring you more information, more perspectives, and build this relationship that we are building with the industry. My name is Sam Zima, and of course, I was joined by my colleague, co-anchor and co-host, Rabula Mulivani. And of course, the team that you have been listening to, this is the team from the Valley University of Technology Cooperative Education Division, headed by Dr. Annie Moletsane, and of course, the colleagues, Edwin Mavelani, Simon Mushala, Carlos Dos Santos, Sylvia Konasi, in absentia, Priscilla. I know the old surname. Please say it for me. I don't want to say the wrong things. Sylvia's new surname. It's no longer new. Not Sylvia. Priscilla.
Madlodlo.
Madlodlo. I'll make sure that next time
Mrs. Madlodlo.
Mr. Madlodlo will not be happy with me. Thank you, colleagues. It's been
Lena as well, behind the scene.
Oh, Lena Treya behind the scene. And the students that are always, when I come to the co-op, they are the first to welcome me there. And everybody else that we're forgetting to mention, those colleagues that are providing support. So we'll get to speak to them as well. Let's check out, and please we'll look out for the replay of this show. It will be available on all social media platforms. We look forward to the next month, last Wednesday of the month. Thank you, colleagues. Stay in the studio as we disconnect from the viewers, please. Thank you.